What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing a video on how to manual. Alright, so if you guys watched the wheelie video, we're going to do the same thing, go over some basic safety tips to keep you guys safe, and then we'll jump right into how to do a manual. So you always want to wear a helmet when you're performing any of these exercises, just because if you fall over or anything like that, I don't want you guys to hurt your head, and it's just safer that way. You also want to wear tennis shoes or something like that, unless you're really comfortable with clip-ins. I'd recommend that just because you don't want to go over the back and not be able to unclip if you're wearing clip-ins and then smack your back or your head on the ground, because that junk hurts. For this video I'm wearing clip-ins just because I'm really familiar with how to do manuals and stuff like that, and I do them all the time, so it's no big deal. Also, like the last video, your back brake is your best friend through all of these exercises that you're doing. Now in the manual, the back brake's really not going to do much for you other than drop that front end down. You're not going to be able to use it to maintain that balance point. You're going to want to use your legs and bending at the knees to maintain that balance point, because the back brake's just going to drop you down because you're at a different balance point that you would be in a wheelie, and you're further forward rather than further backwards like in a wheelie. To get that manual up, you're going to use a lot of fork compression and arm compression in order to use that rebound to your advantage, and it'll bring that front wheel up. And then you're going to use a lot of leaning back and just that main balance point, which is different from your wheelie balance point, but the wheelie balance point will give you a good baseline for where you need to be in a manual. Balance is key in manualing because it's not like a wheelie where you're sitting on the seat and a little further back and you can use your pedals really and your power for a wheelie to maintain that height, but you're not pedaling in a manual. It's just pure, you have speed and you just carry that front wheel up and then you hold it up. You're off the saddle almost all the time in a manual, and you're almost never pedaling in a manual. Generally, a wheelie isn't really used for anything other than like race finishes or crowd pleasing or anything like that, but a manual is actually what you can use on a trail or on a race or anything like that, and it's a good technical skill to have because it can get you over a lot of stuff. So I went out and filmed a couple of examples of what you could use a manual for on my ride this morning. The first one is going off like a drop or a rock garden or anything like that. You can use that manual to lift that front wheel up and just go over it a lot easier with the back wheel. Plus you're less likely to crash if you're manualing over like a drop or anything like that because your weight's really over the back. Another example that I did in the manual was just going down a hill. I held the manual down the hill. That's more just like a fun thing, you know, hanging out with your buddies. You want a manual and show off a little bit. And then the last one is a manual over some like little humps. That's really useful because you can use that same scenario on like manualing over some roots, or manualing over, you know, the same thing like in a pump track. You can manual over the humps or anything like that. The jump line, you can manual over that. As long as they're not too big and you have really good manualing skills, it's a really good thing to use. Alright, so now that I got all that out of the way, I'm going to go right into the tutorial on the bike on how to manual. Alright guys, so you always need the helmet. Today I'm not going to wear my tennis shoes, just for the sake of, I don't really need them, but I would 100% recommend if you're just starting out manuals to wear tennis shoes just in case you go off the back. Today I'm using clip-ins. I always want to remember, just like the wheelie video, the back brake, because that's going to drop you down so you don't go off the back side. Alright, to execute a manual well, you first need to know how to compress your arms and your shock. So you just want to, when you're going to want to start out a manual, you're going to compress your arms, you're going to go from here to here and compress your shock at the same time. And that's going to give you that boost that you need to come up. And then a manual is all about balance points. Balance point on the wheelie is like fairly important, but you can keep a wheelie up with just power. But the balance point on the manual is what's keeping you up because you're not pedaling the manual. So to find that balance point, it's going to take a lot of practice from you guys when you're trying to execute a manual. But once you find it, you'll have a manual down, no problem. Alright, so I'm going to show you guys that compression that I was talking about of the arms and the fork first, and then we'll go into the manual itself. Compress those arms, compress the shock at the same So like I said, it's going to take a lot of practice to find that balance point, but just keep using that compression and using that back brake to not go too far over or too far into the ground. To maintain that balance point as well, you don't only have to use your arms, you can use your legs as they pivot in between here and here. So when you're pivoting the legs, it's going to keep you centered on the bike over that balance point. Alright, so I'm just going to show you guys a few successful manuals using that balance point, back brake, and not pedaling, and then the compression of the arms to get you up, and then using those legs to maintain that balance point. So your manual can vary from height in which you decide. It can be super low to the ground, it can be super high up in the air, it doesn't matter. Depends on what kind of obstacle or what you're trying to achieve with that manual. If you're trying to do whoops, maybe like mid-range. If you're trying to do a big rock drop, it might be higher. If you're trying to do just like a few little roots, you could say pretty low to the ground. It all depends on what you're trying to accomplish. Alright, so bonus tutorial time. It's going to be a manual into a wheelie. So what you're going to do initially is start out with that manual, and you're going to hop into a wheelie by just gently sitting down in the seat, and then maintain those wheelie steps by just holding that balance point and pedaling. I'm going to try to accomplish one in the backyard here. I don't know if there's enough room for it. If not, I'll go out to the road or something. Here you go. Thank you guys so much for watching my video on how to manual. If you guys enjoyed the video, please leave a like on it. Subscribe if you guys want to see more epic content. And I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Peace.